Welcome to today's deep dive. I want you, the listener, to just think about your own home network for a second.
Yeah, take a mental inventory of your setup.
Right, because most people, they think they have a pretty solid handle on their digital security.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you change your Wi-Fi password from that default string of random letters on the back of the router.
Maybe you set up a PIN code on your phone.
Exactly. Or maybe you even install like a free ad blocker on your browser.
You call it a day.
Yeah, you sit back, you dust off your hands, and you feel like you've built this impenetrable digital fortress.
It is a very comforting illusion, honestly.
It really is.
We like to feel that we've, checked the necessary boxes, we've locked the digital front door, and we can safely ignore the internet's darker corners.
But today we are looking at a document that completely shatters that illusion.
It really does.
We are unpacking a very specific, just intensely detailed set of personal notes. They're dated March 21st, 2026.
Which isn't that far off.
Right. And it's authored by a man named Nir Reutman. He outlines what he calls his custom cybersecurity architecture.
And what's so fascinating here is that this isn't, it's not a blueprint for a Fortune 500 company.
No, not at all.
Or some classified government agency. This is a setup designed for a single family.
His family.
Yeah, his own family. He manages this enterprise-grade, highly sophisticated infrastructure simply as a, and I quote, a hobby.
A hobby. I mean, some people knit, right?
Wow.
Some people collect vintage stamps. This guy builds a digital pentagon in his living room just to keep his kids' iPads safe.
It's incredible.
It is. So our mission today is to extract the core principles of his setup. We're going to look at how he adapted this massive layered approach to protect a typical household.
So that you, the listener, can rethink your own digital safety.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this, because the sheer scale of this architecture is just staggering.
Oh, it's massive.
We are talking about custom servers, cloud-based threat monitoring, physical hardware keys.
It really is an incredible study in systematic threat modeling. Right. I mean, he hasn't just gone out and bought a fancy off-the-shelf antivirus program.
Right.
He has literally mapped out every single way data flows in and out of his family's life.
Every single pathway.
Yeah. And he's built specific overlapping defenses for each one of those pathways. It's the concept of defense in depth, but perfectly applied to the modern living room.
So let's start where the internet actually meets his house, which is the network perimeter.
The front door.
Yeah, the front door. This is how he protects his digital home from the outside world, stopping bad actors before they even get close to the family's actual devices.
Right.
He's running Sophos firewalls, which that is heavy-duty enterprise hardware.
That's serious gear, yeah.
But the way he configures it is what really caught my attention. He uses something called Layer 2 Total Client Isolation on the access point.
Yes.
And if I understand this correctly, if my phone and my smart TV are on the exact same Wi-Fi network, the router basically acts as a permanent wall between them.
That is exactly how it works.
So they can both talk to the internet, but they are completely blind to each other.
Yes, because on a normal home network, when you connect your devices, they automatically discover each other.
Right, like finding a printer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how you cast a YouTube video from your phone to your television or, send a document to that wireless printer.
Okay.
Layer 2 isolation completely severs that local communication.
It's like putting every family member in their own individual bubble boy suit while they're all sitting on the exact same living room couch.
That is a great way to picture it.
They can watch the TV, but they can't high-five each other.
Right.
But I have to push back here, though.
Okay.
If they can't connect to each other's devices, I imagine that breaks a lot of really convenient smart home features.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Like, how do they print a document or share a photo over the local network? Is this just massive overkill that ruins the convenience of having a home Wi-Fi setup?
Well, it's a very valid question.
Yeah.
And yes, it introduces a significant amount of friction into daily life. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the pure application of the zero trust philosophy.
Just zero trust.
Yeah. In cybersecurity, one of the absolute biggest dangers is lateral movement.
Okay, walk me through that.
Let's say one of the kids clicks a malicious link on their tablet and downloads a payload.
Happens all the time.
Exactly.
Mm.
On a standard open home network, that malware would immediately scan the local Wi-Fi, find the parents' work laptops, discover a vulnerability, and then just jump over to infect them too.
Oh, wow.
But by isolating every client at layer 2 and explicitly blocking LAN-to-LAN traffic at layer 3, he mathematically guarantees that a compromised iPad stays a compromised iPad.
The infection just has no physical or logical path to spread.
Precisely. The Bubble Boy suit prevents the digital virus from jumping hosts.
Wow. Okay, when you frame it like that, it makes perfect sense.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah, you sacrifice the easy local printing for the ironclad guarantee that a shady game app can't infect your tax returns. And he goes even further, right? Before traffic even enters the network, he's using deep packet inspection, or DPI.
Right.
He's configuring the firewall to drop any traffic that uses weak cryptographic ciphers or compressed SSL certificates.
Which is an incredibly high standard for a home.
And he's constantly pumping in custom indicator of compromise feeds with over 200,000 objects.
Meaning his network is constantly cross-referencing a massive live updating database of known bad IP addresses and malicious domains.
So if a packet of data is coming from a server that was flagged by a cybersecurity firm an hour ago,
his firewall just drops it instantly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And his approach to domain filtering is just as intense.
Oh, the next DNS setup.
Yeah. He's routing all of his DNS traffic, which, for the listener, is basically the phone book of the internet that translates a website name into an IP address.
Right.
He routes all of that through Amazon Web Services to a platform called NextDNS.
And he's using it to block typo squatting, newly registered domains, and IDN homograph attacks.
Okay, I've seen that last term before, but how does a homograph attack actually function?
It's visually fascinating and incredibly sneaky.
Okay.
So, a hacker registers a domain like apple.com, but instead of using the standard Latin letter A, they use a Cyrillic A from the Russian alphabet.
Wait, really?
Yeah. To your human eye, reading it on a screen, it looks absolutely identical to the real Apple website.
But it's not.
No. To the computer's underlying code, it's a completely different address designed entirely to harvest your password.
Oh, that is wild.
And his DNS filter spots that linguistic trick instantly and blocks the connection.
That is brilliant. And you also mentioned newly registered domains. Why is a new website such a threat?
Well, a newly registered domain, or an NRD, is often a massive red flag in threat intelligence.
Why is that?
Cybercriminals don't usually use old, established websites for phishing. They spin up thousands of brand new disposable domains every single day.
Oh, I see.
They launch massive email attacks, use the sites for a few hours, and then basically burn them before security vendors can blacklist them.
So they're just burner sites.
Exactly. By simply telling his network, do not allow anyone in this house to visit a website that was created in the last 30 days.
He just cuts out a huge percentage of zero-day phishing threats.
Just entirely eliminates them, yeah.
He even applies this hyper-filtered logic to his personal websites.
Yes, he does.
Using Squarespace and a service called Bunny CDN, he's geo-blocking traffic from entire countries.
Right.
He's running a web application firewall, anti-bot measures, and he's scanning all user uploads for malware and CSAM.
Which is child sexual abuse material.
Right, meaning he's actively ensuring his infrastructure cannot be used to host illegal files.
It's a very responsible setup.
And he outright blocks anyone trying to access his site using a VPN, the Tor network, or from a data center.
Which is incredibly pragmatic. Because, think about it, normal human beings browsing a family website do not usually route their traffic through an Amazon Web Services data center IP address.
Right, they're just browsing from their phone.
Yeah. Exactly. Automated bots, vulnerability scanners, and hackers use those data centers.
Yeah.
So he's filtering out the background radiation of the internet before it even touches his servers.
So his network perimeter is less like a standard lock on a door and more like a high-end airport security checkpoint.
Where every single packet of data is having its background checked against a global watch list.
Before it can even enter the living room.
Exactly.
But the reality of modern life is that devices don't stay at home.
No, they don't.
When his daughter takes her phone to a public coffee shop, she leaves that protected bubble. So how does this architecture travel with them?
Right. You can't rely entirely on the network perimeter because our endpoints, our laptops, our mobile phones, they are highly mobile.
Yeah, they connect to untrusted hotel Wi-Fi, public cellular networks.
This is exactly where we see him pivot to the extreme hardening of the specific hardware the family interacts with.
Right. Let's look at those endpoints because for the family baseline, he uses the CIS benchmarks. For the family Windows computers, he's applied 168 custom registry settings to meet these benchmarks.
Plus another 82 tweaks specifically dedicated to privacy controls.
That is a lot of tweaking.
It is. To give you some crucial context here, the Center for Internet Security, or CIS, publishes these incredibly dense, massive guides on how to lock down operating systems.
Like corporate-level stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hitting these benchmarks is a major goal for corporate IT departments.
Yeah.
And it highlights a tension we all face, right?
What's that?
Tech companies design consumer devices for convenience, not security.
Oh, for sure.
By default, your laptop wants to share your location data, connect seamlessly to open networks, and run dozens of background services to make your life, quote-unquote, easier.
Right.
By applying nearly 200 custom registry tweaks to a family machine, he went into the deep underlying code of the operating system and manually ripped out that convenience.
No.
He turned off every unnecessary feature and telemetry ping that could potentially be exploited.
And he's also utilizing something called zero patch for virtual patching.
Yes.
If I understand this right, this is about closing that dangerous gap between when a software flaw is discovered and when the company actually fixes it.
Precisely. Normally, when a severe vulnerability is found in an operating system, the vendor has to write a fix, thoroughly test it, and then release it in their next scheduled update cycle.
Which takes time.
It leaves a window of days, sometimes weeks, where your computer is completely exposed to anyone who knows about the flaw.
So what does zero patch do?
Virtual patching bypasses that wait entirely. Zero patch injects microcode directly into the computer's active memory to plug that specific hole immediately.
Long before the official vendor patch is released.
Exactly.
So he's quite literally beating the multi-billion-dollar software companies to the punch to protect his family.
Yes, he is.
And on their mobile devices, he's hitting up to 93.33% of the CIS benchmark for Android.
Which is incredibly hard to do on a consumer phone.
Plus, he's forcing VPN autoconnects on untrusted networks, installing Checkpoint Harmony Mobile.
He uses Manage Engine and OpsWat for auto updates, too.
Yeah. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
We have to talk about his personal rules, the protocols he applies exclusively to his own devices.
Yes, his personal threat model is clearly elevated far above the rest of the family's baseline.
Definitely. I mean, he enforces full disk encryption, uses mobile device management to strictly separate his work profile.
He requires fingerprint biometrics.
Right. And relies on YubiKey hardware keys. He even runs a custom Firefox browser with over 100 distinct settings tweaked for privacy.
KeepUsXC for passwords, too.
Yeah. But the detail that absolutely fascinated me.
Which one?
On his personal machine, he completely blocks the system from recognizing unknown external keyboards.
Ah, yes. It's a very specific and deeply telling configuration choice.
I mean, imagine my wireless mouse or my keyboard breaks while I'm working.
Right.
I grab a cheap generic replacement from the junk drawer. I plug it into the USB port, and the computer just completely rejects it.
It refuses to function.
Exactly. And the reason he does this is to prevent a physical hardware injection attack.
Yeah.
Which, how does a keyboard become a vector for a cyber attack?
Well, this illustrates the core concept of attack surface reduction.
Okay.
A very common, highly effective attack vector in physical security environments is a malicious USB drive that is physically disguised to look exactly like a standard keyboard or mouse to the computer's hardware layer.
Oh, so it pretends to be a keyboard.
Exactly. When you plug it in, the computer's operating system thinks, oh, a standard human input device. I'll happily accept commands from this.
Wow.
The malicious device then injects thousands of automated keystrokes in a fraction of a second.
Just typing at lightning speed.
Right. You can open the hidden command prompt, download a malicious payload from the internet, execute it, and compromise the machine before you even blink.
That is terrifying.
But by explicitly telling the operating system to reject any keyboard hardware ID that hasn't been personally pre-approved by him, he closes that physical attack surface completely.
It's just wild to think about the level of discipline required to maintain that in a home environment.
It really is.
Yeah.
But it shows a profound understanding of exactly how systems are broken.
Yeah.
Consumer devices are fundamentally designed to be opened and interoperable. To lock them down to this degree, where they reject plug-and-play hardware, requires meticulous, painstaking management.
Okay, so the network checkpoint is established. The devices themselves are hardened armor.
Right.
But anyone in the industry will tell you that you have to assume a breach will eventually happen.
You always assume breach.
So how does he actually know if someone is rattling the digital doorknobs? Yeah. How do you monitor a setup this complex without going completely crazy?
Real-time surveillance.
Okay.
This is where his architecture transitions from just being a collection of static, strong locks into a living, breathing security apparatus that watches its own back.
Yeah, because he is running a SIMAC security information and event management system.
Exactly.
Specifically an open source platform called Wazoo, which he hosts remotely on an Amazon Web Services cloud instance.
On an EC2 instance, yeah.
And he's written over 550 custom rules for this thing.
Which is huge.
When a rule is triggered, it sends an alert immediately to a private Slack channel on his phone. What exactly is a SIME doing in this context?
Well, first off, it is highly unusual for an individual to run a cloud-based SIME for a home network.
I can imagine.
Think of a SIME as the central nervous system. Every single device we've talked about, the Windows endpoints, the Ubuntu servers, the Sophos firewalls, they all have lightweight software agents installed on them.
Like little reporters.
Right. These agents are constantly streaming thousands of lines of log data up to this central AWS brain.
Okay.
The SIME analyzes all of that data in real time, looking for patterns that match those 550 custom rules.
I picture it like he basically has a personal NORAD control room pinging his smartwatch.
That's a great analogy.
Like if one of his kids clicks a shady link on a Tuesday afternoon, his phone probably buzzes in his pocket before the malicious webpage even finishes loading on the tablet.
That is practically how the system operates. He's also utilizing file integrity monitoring, which automatically alerts him if crucial system files on any machine are unexpectedly modified.
He also uses AWS Guard Duty, right?
Yes, and automated dark web monitoring through NordVPN and RoboForm to search for breached family credentials.
Wow.
But this raises an important question.
What's that?
The psychological toll of that much visibility.
What do you mean by that?
Well, managing over 550 custom alert rules is notoriously difficult. In the corporate world, it's a full-time job for an entire team of analysts in a security operations center.
Right, a whole team.
We call it alert fatigue. If your phone is buzzing in your pocket every single time a firewall blocks a harmless automated internet scan, you eventually become numb to it.
You just start ignoring them entirely.
Exactly. True security isn't just a set-it-and-forget-it software package. It requires continuous active intelligence.
So he has to keep tweaking it.
He has to constantly tune and refine those 550 rules so that when Slack pings him, he knows it's a legitimate, actionable threat and not just the background noise of the internet.
That makes the hobby aspect even more impressive. I mean, he's actively managing SOC from his pocket.
He really is.
And he extends this rigorous verification to his communications as well.
Yes, the email setup.
The family uses passkeys and multi-factor authentication for their accounts, but he uses his physical YubiKey, Google's advanced protection program, and dedicated checkpoint email protection for his single Google Workspace mailbox.
With a custom domain.
Right. And here is where we get into what I call the tech alphabet soup.
Oh, yeah.
He's implemented DNS, SEC, SPF, MTA, STS, DMARC, DKIM, and CAA.
It's a lot of acronyms.
It really is. In the past, I might have just dismissed this, but what is the actual mechanism at play here? How is this stopping an attack?
It's all about cryptographic verification of identity.
Okay.
Email spoofing is incredibly common. Anyone can make an email look like it came from your bank or from you.
Right.
Think of these protocols like a multi-layered authentication system for a courier. SPF is essentially a published guest list. It tells the internet exactly which servers are mathematically authorized to send email on behalf of his domain.
Okay.
DKIM takes it a step further by attaching a hidden mathematical digital signature to every single outgoing email, proving it wasn't tampered with in transit.
Wow.
And DRRC is the strict set of instructions that tells the receiving server exactly what to do. Usually, reject the message entirely if those first two checks fail.
So he has mathematically ensured that no one can ever impersonate his digital identity.
Exactly.
So he's monitoring everything in real time, locking down communications cryptographically. But what is his failsafe?
Ah, the backups.
Yeah. What happens if the data is lost or a system proves just too difficult to maintain because, perfection is impossible?
Exactly. Disaster recovery is the ultimate final test of any security architecture. If an advanced ransomware strain somehow bypasses the deep packet inspection, the DNS filters, the zero trust network, and the endpoint virtual patching, You need a reliable way to restore your life.
So for his servers, he's running Ubuntu Pro on the latest version, and he forces logins only via cryptographic certificates from specific pre-approved IP addresses.
And no root access whatsoever.
He also uses Scout Suite for manual AWS misconfiguration checks, but his backups are what really caught my eye.
They're very thorough.
He synthesizes the classic 3-2-1 backup principle beautifully. He has physical, fast, large-capacity USB keys up to 1 terabyte each, plus physical hard disks.
Yes.
And for his cloud strategy, he has 6 separate 1 terabyte Microsoft OneDrive accounts and a 2 terabyte Google Drive with partition spaces for the family.
I love seeing this highly diverse backup strategy. He is intentionally keeping critical data offline on physical keys.
Why is that so important?
Because an unplugged hard drive in a desk drawer is air-gapped. It is physically immune to network-based ransomware that tries to encrypt everything it touches.
You can't hack what isn't plugged in.
Exactly. At the same time, he distributes his cloud backups across multiple, completely isolated corporate ecosystems.
Right.
So if Microsoft's cloud infrastructure is somehow compromised, his data still safely exists in Google's ecosystem entirely.
But maybe my absolute favorite part of this entire 2026 document is the section I call the graveyard.
Yes. The things he previously used but intentionally deactivated.
Yeah, the discarded ideas are often the most revealing, I think.
Absolutely.
Like, he used to use a service called pentester.com to automatically try and force data brokers to remove his family's personal information from the internet.
But he canceled it.
Yeah, because of constant duplication and issues getting the removals to actually stick.
Right.
And he used to use Yara detection software to automatically search for and remove indicators of compromise directly on the PCs.
But he disabled it.
He did. Why? Because it was an, quote, issue to maintain remotely.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for us?
Honestly, it's almost comforting to know that even this guy has his limits. It really is.
Even the guy who blocks unknown keyboards to stop hardware injections dropped Yara detection because it was just too annoying to manage.
It is incredibly comforting, and it's a vital lesson for anyone listening. Security absolutely must be sustainable.
Right.
If a security tool creates too much friction, breaks too many legitimate day-to-day processes, or just creates an unmanageable maintenance burden, it ceases to be an asset and becomes a liability.
It's just too much.
Right. Dropping Yara detection because it was too hard to maintain remotely shows that he is ultimately pragmatic. He understands that a security system you end up resenting and eventually bypassing just to get your work done is worse than having no security system at all.
You have to constantly balance the paranoia with actual day-to-day livability.
Exactly.
Okay, let's bring this all together. Nir Reitman's family setup is an absolute masterpiece of defense in depth.
It really is.
He isolates the network perimeter so devices can't silently infect each other. He hardens the mobile endpoints to military-like standards by stripping out consumer convenience and reducing the physical attack surface.
He monitors every log in real time using an AWS Cloud Brain.
And he backs everything up to both physical air-gapped drives and diverse cloud vaults.
And bringing it back to you, the listener, you probably do not need an Amazon Web Services EC2 instance running 550 custom rules just to safely watch your kids play on their tablets.
No, that mental load would be exhausting.
It really would. But you can absolutely adopt a fraction of this mindset today.
Like what?
Well, you can buy a YubiKey, a $50 physical hardware security key to lock down your primary email account so it's mathematically immune to phishing.
That's pretty accessible.
You can change the DNS settings on your home router to use a free service that automatically blocks newly registered domains. You can dive into your computer's settings and turn on full disk encryption. You don't need to be near to drastically reduce your digital risk. You just need to start thinking in overlapping layers.
Which leaves me with a final lingering thought for you to ponder.
Right.
This document we've been examining is from March 2026. He calls this massive infrastructure a hobby. But look at the landscape of cyber threats surrounding us right now.
It's intense.
We are dealing with AI-driven phishing campaigns that sound exactly like our loved ones, automated ransomware gangs that operate like multinational corporations, and unregulated data brokers vacuuming up every detail of our lives.
It's a lot to deal with.
So if a single, highly educated individual feels the explicit need to build an automated, AI-driven, enterprise-level fortress just to safely browse the web and protect his family's personal photos.
Are we rapidly approaching a future where this level of extreme personal cybersecurity is no longer just a hobby for tech enthusiasts?
Exactly. Is this going to become the mandatory baseline requirement for basic digital survival in the modern age?
That is the question.
Because suddenly, just changing your Wi-Fi password doesn't feel like a fortress anymore. It feels like locking a screen door during a Category 5 hurricane.
It really does. It's a sobering reality check.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.